Welcome into the Ozarks Sports Report podcast. For tonight's show, we are sitting down with the coaches of the SWCL. Coaches, if you want to, just please introduce your names and tell us who you are.
Brian Harmon from Crane.
Justin Snyder, Clever.
Drew Cherry, Billings.
Tyler Jones, Sparta.
All right, other coaches in this conference are Dalton Kelly of Spokane, Dustin Avers of Blue Eye, and Timmy Townsend of Galena. All right, first off with our questions. First question is, what are your current records this fall?
Crane, we are 14-6, or 14-7, excuse me. We have played all the teams in the conference, and we are 4-2 against conference teams.
Clever is 14-5, and we are 6-0 against conference teams.
Billings is 4-10, and we are 2-4 in the conference.
Sparta is 5-10 overall, 2-4 in the conference, and we have not played Blue Eye.
All right, and where do your records put you for the seeding in the SWCL tournament?
Sparta, we got the 4th seed. I feel like we that's where we need to be at with our record and the teams in our conference.
And Billings got the 5 seed. I believe we're right around where I wanted to get with the seeding as well. So
Clever got the 1. We were 6-0, so we got where I thought we would be.
And in Crane, we are the 2 seed, which fell exactly where I thought we would be. We all go into a good tournament, well balanced, and it ought to be some good games on Saturday at Crane, and then with semis and finals as well.
All right, and the other seedings are as Blue Eye is number 3 and Galena is number 6. Next question is, who are your best players to watch for during the tournament?
So far this year, our 3 and 4 batters have been Colton Elder and Harley Howard have kind of led the offense. Our offense has kind of gone as well as Wyatt Vaught, who bats leadoff for us. He missed about a 4-game stretch with a quad injury. Offense struggled during that stretch. He's come back, and first game back against Seymour in the Seymour tournament, he struck out in his first at bat and then went on to go 4 for 5 on the day. Seems like our offense goes as Wyatt goes, but all up and down through, I trust all of our hitters, and we expect lots out of every one of them.
Clever. Callum Springer is my leading hitter right now, right around 470. Logan Peebles and Callum's hits in our 2-hole does a really good job. Creates some issues with teams because he can bunt and hit the ball pretty well both ways. Logan Peebles is our 2-hole, or our number 2 hitter probably on the team right now. He's right around 440, 450. He's had a tremendous fall as far as power numbers and RBIs go. He's approaching 30 RBIs right now. And then we've got a whole lot of guys out of conference that are sitting around 360, 370. Colby Elrod and Hunter Easter probably need to be named in that. And then all 8 of our 9 starters are hitting over, I think, 370 in conference. So we've had a pretty good season so far offensively.
and at Billings, Peyton Gold. He is our junior catcher. Solid arm, solid backstop. He's been our either leadoff or 3-hole hitter. Also, Trenton Blankenship is a sophomore pitcher, third baseman. He is a solid player, has a solid arm on the hill. And we have a lot of younger guys that seems like any given day, one guy can really be the hit leader, and the next guy, another guy can't be. So.
At Sparta, our Nathan Bliss is our leading hitter, hitting 350. Then our 4-hole hitter Josh Smith's hitting 336. Our 5 holes hitting about 320. We got a couple freshmen that have really stepped up. That has helped us out in our lineup. Our 7 through 9 hitters are starting to figure it out, putting the ball in play, making good things happen, getting on base for our top of the lineup.
All right, those are some good answers, guys. And for our next question is, what are your keys for each game in the tournament?
Well, with Crane, we start off the tournament with Spokane, and our keys there are to get big hits and drive in runs. That's one of our 2 conference losses. 2 weeks ago, we played Spokane and fell behind 3-0. We left 12 men on base that night, left 9 of those 12 in scoring position. It's going to be, getting the big hits, and then, throughout the tournament, obviously our pitching is huge. We feel like we've got a deep pitching staff, a lot of guys that are very similar. Brent Williams has done a great job in relief for us, and he's going to come into play. It's going to be a big key. Colby Smith will be taking the mound for us against Spokane, and if we're fortunate enough to get past that, I see Wyatt Vaught being second round, and they've both pitched extremely well. Wyatt's been great on the mound. Colby's pitched against some tough opponents and has a 2-2 record, but he's pitched against two of the better teams we've played. Probably two of the top 4 teams we've played. Colby's gotten the ball against and kept us in those games and battled real well. So, it's going to come down to pitching, I think, as it always does. I feel like last year's tournament, once we got to semifinals, we had 4 one-run games, 2 semifinals, third place, and championships. So that's what's going to come up big is pitching. Who can hold the other team in check long enough to hold on for the wins.
We're along the same lines. We're going to be pitching and defensive oriented. But this is probably the best defensive team I've had at Clever. And then, we started out the season before the season even started and lost our number 1 pitcher. Hunter Uchler stepped into that spot, and he's been tremendous. I think he's 7-1 with an ERA under 1 right now. And we've got Cameron Garcia behind him, who's 4-1, and then Summer Caden Sims, who's had a really, really good fall, and then the emergence of a freshman named Jake Twig has been extremely, and I wouldn't say surprising, but nice to see because he threw 5 shutout innings against Purdy the other night and looked really, really good. And I'm not so sure. He might be our number 2 pitcher right now with how well he's throwing and what he's doing. He's very deceiving at 5'3". So he's done a great job, and our defense has done a great job behind our pitchers, and hopefully we can keep that up for the next 2 games and finish strong. But it'll definitely come down to pitching depth, and I think who makes plays on defense. Teams are going to hit the baseball in this tournament, so defense is going to be huge.
I think some keys for Billings is playing a complete 7 innings. Most of our losses this season come from that 1 or 2 bad innings that we had, and then just game spiraled from there. We were down 10-0 to Sparta, who we played the first round, down 10-0 in the 5th inning. Ended up battling back a little bit to erase the run rule and make it a game, and lost 8-13 to them, but we just seem to have the 1 or 2 big innings, or whether it's good or bad, but we need to play a complete 7 innings to be successful in this tournament, because there are a lot of solid teams that any given day anyone can really win. So
for Sparta, our key things are going to be pitching and defense, kind of like Crane and Clever mentioned. Who comes out on the mound and who, if they're going to have a good day or bad day, we're going to hit the ball. We're going to put it in play. We're going to put pressure on Billings' defense. That's who we see in the first round. We're going to put pressure on their defense. Hopefully, make them have to make a play. And you got to win to get there. So we're going to do whatever we got to do to beat Billings and get to that semifinal game.
Alrighty, some good answers, coaches. Good answers. All right, for our next question is, who are some key arms to keep eyes on throughout the tournament? Start off with Crane.
Like I mentioned before, Colton Elder has gotten the ball in a lot of games and against some very good teams, and he, has come out on the short end a few times. He's left some games with the lead, and we lose that lead and come back and win those games. But Colton's our horse. We're going to go to him as often as we can. We're going to, we always feel good when he's on the mound. I feel like our defense is strongest when he is on the mound, and then we've got Colby Smith and Wyatt Vaught will also get starts if we're fortunate enough to advance, and then Brent Williams will always be coming out of the bullpen, and then Harley Howard, who has been a starting pitcher this year, will also get some innings out of the bullpen if it's needed, and hopefully a mix of those guys can kind of keep us in the game, and that's all we can ask for, is be in the game come 7th inning, and hopefully we can push across a run or 2 if that's what we need.
Hunter Uchler for Clever is obviously our number 1 at 7-1. He's thrown a lot of big games for us. He threw last night against Crane. His only loss was to Silo, Oklahoma, who I think is sitting about 20. I think last time I checked, they were 24-2. and the number 1 ranked team in Oklahoma. He lost 3-1 to them. He's had a big velocity jump, and for him, about 8 to 9 miles an hour compared to what he was even over the summer. And some of that's probably just maturing body-wise, and he's still working hard to get in better shape. He's pretty heavy around the hips, and we've talked a lot about that the more flexible he can become, the harder he can throw. And he's done a decent job of working hard to try to do the things necessary for him to become a better pitcher, because that's something he wants to do in college. I don't know who our number 2 is. That's weird to say this late into the season, but when you have a young kid come on and do what he did on Monday night, and Coach Harmon saw it against Purdy, who was 15-2, and shut them out for 5 innings, and really they didn't hit a ball hard except until the 7th. They only had, I think, one or two hits off of him. And Jake Twigg, I don't know who we're going to throw in the semifinal game. It will probably be Jake Twigg or Caden Sims. Or we may go Hunter. I'm just not sure where we're going to go. That goes. We got a lot of good options. That's the good thing, is we've got a lot of guys very similar, and guys that have thrown really well this year. And that's not even talking about Callum Springer, who is probably our hardest thrower. He may be our only guy right now that throws consistently in that 79 to 81 range. But I like our pitching staff, and the defense plays really well behind them. So we'll try to throw whoever we have to keep our defense the best that it has to be. And I'm a Hillcrest guy, so pitching and defense is always going to be number 1 for us.
Duncan Harder for Billings will be a key asset to our tournament outcome. I think he'll be the first-round pitcher. He'll pitch against Sparta. He really didn't get a whole lot of innings last spring. I don't think he had any starts. He relieved a couple games, but didn't see a whole lot out of him in the spring. But here in the fall, he's really stepped up. He started as my 2 guy or number 3 guy maybe, and he's worked his way up into that ace role. He's got a curveball now that's really developed this season. It seemed like he's throwing that a lot better. Then Trenton Blankenship, he's a sophomore for us. He's my number 2, kind of started out as an ace. Had a rough start in the first few starts, but his last 4, he's gone at least 5 innings of solid baseball or solid innings pitched. Then I've got a couple freshmen that they've been stepping up as solid relievers for me. Hayden Fender, he's a super tall kid, 6'6". Hopefully we'll develop a little more speed onto him, and I think he can be a solid pitcher. And then Jake Henry just came out for us and, closed a couple games and held a couple good teams to, little or no runs, and he spots the ball up pretty well. So I'll need those guys to really show up this weekend and into the later ends of the tournament. So
for Sparta, the Smith kid, he's our ace right now. He'll be in the first round of the tournament against Billings. And then we don't really know who our number 2 is. We have Dylan Phillips that's throwing well for us. Casey Purple that's throwing well for us. Austin Brown, who is primarily outfielder, he's throwing for us. We just got to have good things out of those guys. Come the first game, if we have to call on them to shut anything down.
All right, and our next question would be for our host Crane is, what do you expect for the fans that will be coming out and spectating for these games between Crane, Spokane, Blue Eye, Galena, and Sparta and Billings?
As is usually the case in tournament games at Crane on weekends, we always draw pretty good crowds. Should be 3 very competitive games. I don't see a game on there that you can mark down as, that's definitely going to be a blowout. So should be competitive games. Saturday baseball is always great. Saturday daytime baseball is always great. So that's what we expect. We'll have our setup for everything ready to go, have our field set up for everything ready to go, have our great concessions as always, and just get people out there and hopefully enjoy 3 great games of baseball.
All right, and this question is going to be going to Clever's coach, Justin Snyder, what's the big challenge being the top seed in the SWCL tournament?
I think the biggest challenge is keeping the kids level-headed and knowing that, it's every game you got to show up and you got to play hard and you got to play smart and you can't overlook anyone. I think last year's tournament might be probably the most upsets that there was in a while, and where we upset Spokane in the semis and Crane upset Galena in the semis, and we had the 3-4 seed playing for the championship and the 1-2 playing for third. And that can happen at any point in time. Sometimes you show up and it's just not your day. So you got to make sure you show up and it's your day, and make sure the kids are as prepared as possible. And we just try to prepare our kids the best that we can. And the game's got to be played. Somebody's got to get 21 outs, and usually the team that makes one or two more mistakes is going to be the team that's going to be heading home.
All right, and the next question is, this is going to be going for all of you guys again, is what are going to be some key defensive players to be looking out for in the tournament? First, we're going to start off with Sparta.
Our key defensive player is going to be our catcher, Nathan Bliss. He's got a strong arm behind the plate. Yeah, he's a good defensive catcher. He can limit the run game on most of the teams that we play. Just all around, all 9 guys are going to have to step up and be a defensive key force. We can't let anything down. We can't let our guard down. We have to play a full 7 innings to get the job done.
And for Billings, Jacob Parcell, our center fielder, he's one of my solid outfielders. One of the most hustle you'll see out of any kid on my team for sure. Kind of like Coach Jones says, our all 9 guys got to come out and play defense, full 7 innings. Also, Peyton Gold, catcher, he's got to be a wall for us too. I know some games we've had a little trouble with pass balls, wild pitches. He just needs to get dirty and block a lot of pitches, or block a lot of pass balls and all that fun stuff. So
Art will start behind the plate with Logan Peebles. He's been a 3-year starter for us, and he's only a junior. And the umpire last night asked why I smiled so much, and I said I can look at my infield and I get to see him all for another year. So, everything starts with him. I've turned over all pitches and games being called by him, and he does a good job with that. He'll move a kid if he needs to move them, and he shuts down the running game. He hasn't allowed a stolen base this year, at least on my stats. He hasn't in a league game, and I think he's only given up 5 on the year. So everything starts with him. Nathan King has played really well at shortstop for us. He was pushed by a freshman that we started at second since game 1 and has just continued to get better and better. Quinn Gundelfinger, he might be the best glove that I've ever had at Clever as far as fielding goes, and he's only 14 and not a big kid. He's only going to get bigger and stronger, and he just does a tremendous job. We've turned more double plays this year than we did the last 2 years combined, and we've only played half of our season. In the outfield, it starts with Trace Comer in center. Trace is not going to put up big offensive stats, but the stuff that he does for us in center field and being able to run down fly balls and position guys is huge for us. We just rely on our guys up the middle a lot to position, and I put a lot on them. They have scouting reports on every kid. It's their job, to move guys around and put guys in position. So for us, it goes catcher, short, and center field as the big guys for our defense.
As everybody else has said, defense is always huge. You can win some games without good defense, but to put together a run that wins a tournament it's going to take great defense. We've played in 2 championship games in 2 tournaments so far this fall, and both of them were lost by some defensive mistakes. And that goes around for everybody. I won't name any certain players because I just feel it's key for all of our guys. To stay in the game last night and keep it close within striking distance, we made 3 really nice plays. 1 in right field, saved a run, 1 at shortstop, saved a leadoff single, and then everybody contributing and making some plays, and that's what it takes. We want all the routine plays, but every once in a while you got to have that guy that steps up and says, I'm going to go get this ball that nobody thinks I can get, or I'm going to make this throw, and that's just what you got to have to put you over the top.
All right, good answers, coaches, good answers. And we're going to run down a schedule for the SWCL tournament. First with the first 3 games that will be played at Crane. First game will be Sparta against Billings. That game starts at noon. Our second game will be Blue Eye against Galena. And then the last game at Crane will be Crane against Spokane. And the winner of the Sparta Billings game will be playing Clever at C of O on Monday, October 2nd at 4:30. And the winner of the Crane Spokane game will be playing the winner of the Blue Eye Galena game, once again at C of O at 7 o'clock. With the championship game being on October 3rd at 7 o'clock at C of O, and October 3rd at 4:30 will be the losers game at C of O at 4:30. All right, so coaches, if you guys have social medias, would you guys feel free to announce your social medias for our fans to follow you guys and keep up to date?
Yes, we use Twitter and Facebook, and we will put your podcast YouTube channel on our social media as well.
Yes, and we have at Billings a Twitter handle, BHS Wildcats BB, and we'll give you a follow too. We
use Twitter and Facebook. Our Twitter handle is @clever_baseball, and then Facebook account is Clever Blue Jays baseball. So, and we already follow, and we'll just retweet whatever it is you send out.
And then here at Crane, being the old guy, I had to ask my assistant what our Facebook account is. Facebook is Crane Pirates Baseball, and then our Twitter is @Crane_coach. We like to get all the news out there, get everything that pertains to our program, and I want to thank Adam and Ozarks Sports Report. I want to ask everybody to follow that and tune in on the Crane Community Access YouTube channel, as Adam will be broadcasting first round games on Saturday.
All right, and that will wrap up our Ozarks Sports Report SWCL Baseball Tournament Coaches Roundtable. I'd like to give a big thank you to Crane High School Baseball, Clever High School Baseball, Billings, and Sparta. So once again, I want to say thank you guys for coming out, and if you guys are tuning in, I want to say thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys in the next show. Once again, if you want to stay connected with our social media or our YouTube channel, be sure to like us on Facebook at Ozarks Sports Report, as well as our Twitter. Our handle is at OZRKS, Ozarks, SPRTS, Sports, REPRT, Report. So once again, I want to say thank you all for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys in the next show. Have a good night, everybody.